All right. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Coop Chicks in Charge podcast. I'm Melina Putnam, and we are now entering into our second episode on our new She Shines Spotlight series, where you all get to meet our fantastic speakers that are going to be a part of She Shines Scottsdale in April. It's April 11th and 12th. Totally want everyone to come out and have a spring break style buy leisure, work a little, learn a little, play a little with us. And so today I'm in studio with one of our speakers, Shannon Hernandez. Welcome to the Coop podcast.
Thank you. I'm glad to be in a clean coop.
Yeah, right. Exactly. This is clean, fun, inspiring women, and we're so excited to have you as a guest and one of our speakers. And so, what we're doing in this series is we want to give everyone an idea of course, what to expect at the conference, and what to look forward to. But I wanted to really go a little bit deeper so that they could get to know the speakers ahead of time as well. So I thought it would be fun to share our She Shines story. So we all have these fabulous origin stories that led us to where we are today. And you have a very successful company called Joyful Business Revolution. And so, first of all, joy is one of my favorite words. I usually have a Choose Joy bracelet on that I wear every day. So I'm already loving this vibe. So tell us how you got here.
Oh, I just want to first say thank you for having me. And second, I am known around the globe for keeping it really real. So I hope your audience is ready for real because I bring the real. As every successful entrepreneur's journey, business owner's journey, I believe there are ups and downs and you never arrive. When we think we've arrived, the universe says, oh yeah, and throws you another curveball you get to navigate. So my journey has been like that. But if I go back, I am in 12 and a half years as business ownership. Before that, I was a public school teacher and I taught 8th grade in Spanish Harlem, and one of the hardest districts in the world to teach in, New York City. And I intentionally put myself there because I knew teaching, and still to this day, teaching is my greatest gift to the world. Whether I'm speaking at your conference or running a workshop via Zoom or hosting an in-person event of my own, I am teaching because I am a teacher and an educator at heart. And so that's where I got my start. That's like how I transitioned out of public education and brought my skills as both a teacher and a professor. I was a professor at Brooklyn College in curriculum design, brought those skills to build this business to what it is today. We're a nearly $1 million in revenue business with no ads. We have never used ads of any kind. And I help people with all organic marketing solutions and traffic and getting their story out into the world. And people will love you if you tell your story. And I really want people to understand that, which I know that's what I'm speaking about at your event.
Yes. We are going to share at the conference, for those of you who are new listeners, where we have a morning session all about leadership, and we have an afternoon session on relationships. And communication is so important, obviously, in both of those things, but also in how you do the story. I think it's so overwhelming for a lot of entrepreneurs where they're like, we feel maybe uncomfortable about talking about ourselves. We don't know what language to use, and then understanding the target market, and then feeling like we're not, I hear a lot of fear about being too salesy, coming across that way. And so you're going to help, you're going to share with us on how to have that joyful and authentic marketing storytelling that will, really help us be a magnet for the type of audience that we want. So what would your first piece of advice be, Shannon, that you give to people on how do you know what your story is? with marketing?
Well, this is a question I get a lot from a lot of different people. And I really believe we have multiple stories every single day that we can be sharing with our audiences in our own reflection process, in our journals, right? And so I think one of the things that a misconception, if you will, that makes it really hard is when people say, well, share your origin story or share your story. And I sit here and I think, oh my God, I have so many stories. And what I tell all my clients and my students in our programs is the smaller you think in your content, the bigger your bank account is going to grow. And so if we're overwhelmed by story, can we go to what's your story of your first day running your business? What's the story of yesterday, right? And so I created I have a resource. It's 65 curated story marketing ideas. And they're to get people thinking about their story in different formats and all the stories that we have. So my first piece of advice is don't think you have just one story. You have about 1 million of them.
Yes. Yes. Oh, that's so true. And that's great advice. I love that. Starting with something small. And that also makes it so much more memorable when we try to say too much and then we end up, the people forget what you said because you're just talking and not really getting to the point. So being really concise. I love that. So let me ask you this. When obviously what we want to promote is that we're all shining our light on others. And so I would love to hear from you. What makes you shine?
Well, my community, that's a very loyal community, would say the reason they stick around and what makes me shine is I just don't mince words and I tell it like it is. Nobody has to read between the lines. Nobody has to figure out, is that really what she meant? Like, if I say it, I mean it. So my community would say that. I would say what makes me shine and what makes our company so different from a marketing point of view is I have a rule that I follow. And it's a rule that I learned getting my master's degree in biology. And it is you test and you test and you test and you test. And I treat my marketing like an experiment in a lab. I don't get too attached to it. I will roll stuff out at rapid rate and I will see what works. And then I will fine tune it. And so that's, I think, what makes this brand shine and why I have the business that I have today is because I'm not scared of an experiment failing. I'm also not scared of blowing shit up in a really good way.
I love it. That's awesome. So, you know, social media and storytelling can be very overwhelming for people. And we're just getting so many messages in all the time. So what is your overall thought on, is social media our friend? How do we approach it? How do you stay kind of in the lane and not get super distracted?
Yeah. Well, this is like 5 episodes in one right here. So I'm going to give you the crash course. I made a decision a couple of years ago to go straight into email marketing. I use social for 2 reasons. One, to be social. To connect with people and friends and find new art classes to take and, you know, stuff that I'm really enjoying. I also have met a lot of really great business people on social, but I take that step of reaching out and saying, hey, would you like to have a connection call and see how we can connect? Because for me, that's the only reason I want to be on social is to get, have better relationships in life. Like that's really important to me. The other, in my business, the way I use social is, so my whole marketing strategy and everything we teach stems from writing the email for the week. So my content creation process is what's the story I'm going to tell in my email. And when that email lands on the other side and Milena gets it, does she feel seen, valued, heard? Am I building trust in myself, trust in herself, and trust in my process? We call that the trust triad, right? Which we'll be talking about at the conference. And does it feel like me and Milena are sitting on my sofa with a cup of coffee? Because that is how marketing should work. And you kind of lose that when you talk to social media because you're talking to like so many people, right?
Yeah.
So in my business, I use social media to put out really great resources or fun events that I'm having to get people onto my email list so I can deepen that relationship and grow my revenue from email. I have a lot of people coming to us right now. They've watched kind of this journey. They've watched me pull off of social and say my best content is coming via email. So if you want to hear from me, you need to be on my email list if you want the best of the best from me. And people are coming and they're saying, oh my God, I want this. Please help me. I am burnt out on social. I feel like I have to be on all the time. And listen, y'all, you don't. You really don't. There is a place to use social. And I think if it's joyful for you, we need to make it work that you're growing your email list and telling your best content there so that people stick around for years and years and years.
Oh, great advice. Thank you so much, Shannon. Yeah, and you know what? That's actually the next thing on my to-do list this afternoon is to do a chicks email. So I'm glad that we talked about that. I'm going to do that next. And that's so true about being conversational. And when we are that and feel like you're building that relationship, it doesn't feel salesy, which is nice. The other thing that we're doing in Chicks this year, which is why we're tying this into our conference in Scottsdale too, is unlocking our highest potential. So as leaders, as business owners, and I know that that is a little bit different for everyone. And so I wondered, what are the keys that you use to unlock your full potential?
Wow. It's such a big question.
It is. It is. I know. And you just pick one key, Shannon. You don't have to give us all the keys, but kind of what comes top of mind for you.
Yeah. Well, for years, my business was named after me. We do this. A lot of us do this, right? It was mshannonhernandez.com. And I realized a few years ago that to unlock my highest potential, and man, it was a pain in the ass, but I knew I had to do it. I had to rebrand to a name that wasn't my name. And the reason why is because I stepped out of sales and I stepped out of lead coach so I could do other things. So the way that my business is set up is I am the speaker and the people generator and the community viber. And then when they're ready for sales, they go to Amy. Well, it wasn't making any sense anymore. How is a company called M. Shannon Hernandez, but I never get to talk to Shannon? So I had to put a lot of rebrand is hard when you have a business running. I didn't realize there are still things we're finding years later that are like old branding and old names. And so my highest potential has been with the rebrand. How do I make sure my community accepts the people I'm bringing in as much as they accept me? And that's a difficult thing to do, actually, but story is what's done it. Story is what's done it for us. And now Amy will sign clients and then she'll say at the end, oh yeah, you'll probably see a lady inside named M. Shannon Hernandez. Just know she's a cool one. They haven't even met me yet. And they're coming in and she's signing clients who haven't met me yet. And that took a while. But for my potential, for this business potential, I had to rethink things in terms of what's going to create more in terms of us being able to help more people and us being able to have more impact. And a rebrand it was.
Oh, that's good. And that you're right. That is hard. There are so many moving parts to that. And also that really that mindset shift too. So I love that you did that you realized that it needed to be beyond you and to continue to grow. And I just finished reading The Big Leap. And one of the things that he talks about in the book is like your main thing, like being sure to focus on your main thing, not getting super distracted. I think Discipline is Destiny talks about that as well. It's like, it's so hard. We wear so many hats as business owners. And so I feel like to unlock our highest potential, we really do have to let go and delegate some of those things that are maybe keeping us down or taking up so much of our time, and to really focus on what we do best. And it sounds like you've absolutely done that. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we are really excited to see everyone in Scottsdale this April. Thank you, Shannon, for coming on and giving us a little backstory on you. And everyone, we're going to have all the connection information in our show notes so that you can follow Shannon and see about subscribing to all the juicy content that she shares in her email. And you'll get to meet her in person and learn more at our She Shines conference in Scottsdale. So we'll have those links so that everyone can get your ticket. And I know Shannon's got a special promo code for it. And so I'm going to stick that in the show notes too, so that as a thank you to our audience for listening today. And definitely keep listening, because we're going to be sharing these keys to unlock our highest potential all year long. And that's what we're all here for, is like making the best impact in the world that we can, being great servant leaders. And so thank you, Shannon, for being a part of that.
Thank you. I can't wait to meet you all in April.
It'll be great. All right. We'll talk soon. Thanks, everyone.